some more.
Yo, what's good, people? Izzy Max here, back again with the casting crew. Go ahead and say hello, guys.
Hiya, this is Ryan, back again.
Hey, yo, Matt here.
So this week, kind of weird. Both games have to be played on Showdown due to difficulties. Of course, this is the quickest way. It's not always the cleanest. But we do have the two games for you today for the semifinals. And then after we go through these games, we'll have some closing thoughts, and then we'll go through the breakdown of what's to come for the finals match. So without further ado, you guys just tell me when you want me to pause. This is Dark King versus Brock.
Can do.
Before we actually get started, what do you guys think seeing the 6 that each team brought? Like, let's start there.
Generally speaking, the Runerigus I think was a good bring here. Also the Clefable on Dark King's End I think was good. I like Goodra here a lot. I also like Gyarados here a lot, because you compare those both with Raichu.
My focus, I think, would be a little bit more on the Dracozolt. It seems like it doesn't seem like there's a lot on Brock's side to deal with it, especially since he doesn't have the Mudsdale. The Raichu helps, but Max Wormwinds are still going to be a problem for Brock's team.
Yeah, and since this is open team sheets, we do know items and moves. Real quick, just kind of a key kind of item for this game is Clefairy is Grass Seed, and the Dracozolt is Weakness Policy. I think that's really the only two kind of outliers. I mean, I guess because the Incineroar is Choice Scarf and the Porygon Z is Choice Specs. Those are a little weird, but I think those are really the only.
Those are the only ones that were super
outside
I'd say
of the box.
The Scarf and Incin is relevant to this set.
Mm-hmm.
The Grassy Seed Clefable though ends up being huge.
Yeah, but on Brock's side, I think everything was pretty standard in terms of items and move choices. So we can go ahead and jump in now. One thing I want to note when it gets to it is the leads. I believe Dark King's lead really answered for everything that he could pull out.
Yeah, I'd agree.
With the Choice Scarf Incineroar, you know you're faster than everything except the Comfey, of course, because of Triage. And Runerigus kind of shuts down everything that isn't Rillaboom and Gyarados for the most part. So I really do like Dark King's lead here.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
And Ryan, for what you were saying before we started recording, talk to us about why you don't like Rillaboom here.
The thing is that you get that team sheet, and you see Grassy Seed Clefable, and you see Scarf and Incin, and all these Rillaboom counters, and like the thing is that like there's a part of you that goes, well, he has all these Rillaboom counters, so he won't expect me to bring Rillaboom, so I bring Rillaboom anyway. Like, that's a thought process, but it's more than enough Mons. Like, I don't really see why you bring Rillaboom ever to this set.
I actually think every single one of his Mons except Runerigus had an answer to Rillaboom.
Yeah, and it's on the team sheet, so I would personally not bring Rillaboom to these sets. It does have a positive matchup against a couple of Mons, but like even if you need it, like I think it's an in the back Mon.
Mm-hmm.
Matt, and even the Runerigus, I mean, even Runerigus has, it's got Iron Defense.
Iron Defense, yeah.
Yeah. I believe after running some calcs, Runerigus lived one Grassy Glide.
Yeah.
So.
And it's intimidated here too.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It didn't live after it didn't live before the Intimidate.
Right.
What are your thoughts on the lead game one?
Doesn't really look too good for Brock, especially. I think, given that the Rillaboom is intimidated, I think, and it's in danger of getting KO'd here by Incineroar. Runerigus could start to set up here. Might be a little bit safer not to, but yeah, it doesn't look amazing for Brock.
I think a Goodra Comfey lead would have actually been really solid here.
Yeah, other than the Scarf parting shot, but yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much would be the only big thing.
Yep. Okay.
We have
Move.
weakness policy, so you can kind of get around that.
Yeah. So he actually switches the Runarigus out, which was kind of cool.
I like that play. It's nice and safe. Lets
Mhm.
you pick up the KO on Rillaboom without your Runarigus taking too much damage.
Yeah, and then he switches right back into it with the Clefable.
I actually do like that this Gyarados is not Intimidate and it's Moxie. Especially because, like, you have to do this prep prior. But I like that it's Moxie, just knowing that there's so many ways to lower that attack stat on Dark King's team. I like that the Gyarados has a way to kind of get around the Intimidates.
Kind of start
just picking up
snowballing.
KOs.
Yeah.
And kind of start snowballing.
So I want to go back a turn because this targeting is a little weird.
Yes.
So
Yeah, you always
wanted to
have
mention that
guys
as
with
well.
Renarigus.
yeah, that's well because you're facing the Incineroar and you know it has to switch out here, but the Clefable goes for a Smart Protect. I don't know. Was he trying to outspeed the Incineroar?
I guess that could be the case, yeah.
I guess so, yeah, because he does know that it's Scarf.
Yeah, Clef at +1 did not eat that Geyser, which is part of the reason why I still think Rillaboom's a bad call.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way he doesn't bring Clef, you know?
Yeah, the Moonlight tech on Clefable was actually really key here. Because he knew after the burn was put on Gyarados, Runarigus could live a hit.
Yeah, also you see Wandering Spirit getting transferred to Comfey, which is terrible for it.
Yeah, because now... I didn't know this. Triage has higher priority than Follow Me.
Yeah, it does.
And then, yeah, and now we're just seeing just not much damage coming out. And I think this was really the start of a snowball effect from Dark King's side. And then, yeah, there's the Outrage. I don't know if I click Outrage there, knowing you're targeting the Clefable as well. Just Iron Head it, you know?
Yeah, I don't really see a reason to click Outrage there, but it's just hard for Brock to come back after with all this setup and all this physical bulk. Like, the Runarigus is low now. He did manage to KO the Clefable, but given that that Dark King just so easily stalled out that Dynamax, he just doesn't have enough left.
I would like to comment how much work Comfey put in, though.
Oh my god, yes.
It's kind of brilliant.
I think it's funny that even Choice Scarf Incineroar is being outsped. I mean,
Yeah.
it had one purpose, and it was outspeeding fast Rillaboom to guess, and it did its job.
Yeah.
But so there's game one. We talked through it. We have our ideas. Now, the lead changes for Brock, but not Morgan.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the change?
I still don't see why you don't go Comfey Gudra, personally. Because I would assume that Dark King would be doing the same lead game 2. Because he won game 1 pretty handily, I think. So, like, I do like Gyarados and Raichu here.
Remember, real quick, Raichu does have Safeguard.
Yeah, and the Raichu has Safeguard to block the Will-O-Wisp for the Gyarados, which is nice. And then if Gyarados can pick up a KO, you got the Moxie, and then you can kind of start snowballing. So I actually think this is a good lead. I don't know if I like it as much as Comfey Gudra potentially, but like I think it's like I think he had two options in this, and this being the one he went for is fine. You know?
Yeah, Matt, any thoughts?
Well, I definitely see merit in the Comfey Gudra, especially given what Dark King led here. It just seems so dangerous to do that when you're staring down a Dracozolt, even if it's in the back. You know, you take one KO, that Dracozolt comes in, probably outspeeds the Gudra, and I assume one-shots it. So
no, it's pretty scary. Gudra I think lives a hit.
Oh, it for sure does, since the Dracozolt has no attack investment at all.
Yeah, it feels like it kind of feels like Brock just doesn't really have any solid or safe Dynamax options given the matchup.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and move on. Again, keep in mind, this Raichu does have Safeguard, so this is why I don't like this next play. He goes for the Fake Out. What is Incineroar doing to Gyarados?
I think he may have been anticipating a Scarf
Parting Shot?
parting shot and just wanted to try to KO. It's kind of the only thing I can think of.
Yeah. Moving forward, here again is the Rillaboom. Ryan, I'll hand this one off to you. Why would you Volt Switch into Rillaboom? Oh, did we lose Ryan? I think so. Matt, why would you Volt Switch into Rillaboom?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just Rillaboom is an awkward Pokemon to bring here. I get maybe wanting to bring it in against Runerigus, but you know you're just setting up the grass for Clefable, and which just makes things more difficult for Gyarados.
Which on this turn it makes a little more sense knowing you're gonna KO the Clefable.
Right.
But still, if you miscalculated, that Clefable sticks around for another turn. So
Right.
Yeah, and then there's the Steel Spike. I do like the Steel Spike, seeing how most of Dark King's threats are physical. But now we're just seeing the Iron Defense getting set up on the Runerigus, and out comes the Dracozolt. This was the point in the game where I kind of realized, well, you know.
All right, I'm back. My internet died.
Oh, you're fine. We just seen a +1 defense Rillaboom drop to a max Airstream from a Dracozolt. After that play, I knew this game was kind of done.
Yeah, I mean, once Runerigus was able to set up an Iron Defense safely, that was more or less it.
Yeah,
Especially because it's getting
Also,
recovery
that
from
outrage,
both.
the Gyarados just did an outrage that was a crit, so it ignored all of those minuses and still did.
Yeah, well, he also procced the weakness policy for the Dracozolt, and that's
Yeah.
another thing, like, you know the team, so... But yeah, at this point, this game was pretty much over. Comfey doing a ton of damage, but I don't think it can 3v1 anything.
No.
Especially
definitely
with
not.
a fully set up Runerigus.
Yeah,
So-
this game was over several turns ago.
Yeah. And then Runerigus just finishes it. And I think he ended up winning 5-0. So kind of dominating. A really good performance. Like, I keep getting surprised by the way Dark King plays.
Yeah, he's improved a whole lot, like, for playoffs, you know? And I think Brock had a very, 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 very good set there against John Boy, and I think he really, really, really played extremely well there. And I think part of it might just be some league fatigue. And I think part of it that looks like that, I mean, it's really hard to even just climb out of that team sheet, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Even
for sure.
before the team sheet, I think the matchup just between their two drafts is a little bit rough as well.
Yeah, he was able to pull ahead narrowly in the regular season, but as you've seen, Dark King just didn't bring what he brought in that game. And I think it really ended up
Right.
mattering.
Yeah, given the matchup, honestly, I don't fault Brock too much for taking the loss there. That's completely understandable. I think a lot of us would.
Say that one more time. You were breaking up.
Oh, I don't fault Brock for taking the loss there. I think a lot of us, given the matchup on both the team sheet and the overall drafts, I think a lot of us would end up taking the loss.
Oh yeah, no, it
Oh,
was
for
super
sure.
hard. And
For
he played
sure.
perfectly. I mean, even in the breakdown notes that Brock had, he was like, I mean, he played it pretty much perfect. I mean, there wasn't a lot that I wouldn't say Dark King had any misplays like that whole set, which makes it even harder.
Yeah, and I talked to him after the match. He said he even sat down and like made a flow chart. So I know he is dedicated to try and winning this lead. Like he made a flow chart based on his lead. He knew he was leading those two mons every game. Depending on what Brock led, he had a flow chart like written out as to what he was going to do. So He definitely put
Yeah.
the thought into it. Like, he is determined
Put
to
the work
win.
in. Yeah,
Yeah.
which I can respect that a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on to our next one. I'm going to kind of stay out of this as much as possible since this is my game, but it is me versus Hub. First thoughts on the 6.
Good 6 on both ends. I like Sableye here. I like Rotom Heat here a lot. I think Braviary was a good call too, considering the Mons. Durant's pretty scary. Cinderace is a huge threat, but like Cinderace is always a huge threat, but your team does not like Cinderace very much. Terrakion seems alright. I think Clefairy was a good call. You need your own redirector, you know. Those are kind of my thoughts.
Terrakion seems like it has a little bit of a rough matchup here. It doesn't like Urshifu. It doesn't like Cinderace. It doesn't
Palo.
like Durant.
It doesn't like Palo very much either, even.
No, he was honestly
Yeah.
he was part of my Sun matchup.
Yeah, beat the Sun team.
Yeah.
The Sableye has a lot of potential here,
Yeah,
depending on what it has. Obviously, Sableye has a ton of different tools.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you now. Four move slot syndrome hit me real hard with Sableye.
yeah.
Going through some of the items here, the Braviary is AV, Terrakion is Choice Banded, Rotom was Choice Scarf, Dragapult was Weakness Policy. Those were the weird ones for me. And then on Hub side, everything was pretty standard. If the formula isn't broke, don't fix it. So,
I mean, fair enough.
yeah, so let's go ahead and get started here. Okay, starting with the leads. Tell me what you think about these leads.
You have some trouble taking out Togetic here. However, Sableye has some opportunity.
Yeah.
Well, it would have opportunity if not for Follow Me.
Well, Sableye has Fake Out.
Yeah, so you can Fake Out and you can target Durant. I think you have Flare, right? Max Flare on this thing.
Yeah.
It's going to make that play. That said, there's definitely counterplay available too for Hub if you make that play.
For sure. One thing, I was talking to Matt before we started recording. I wish I didn't Dynamax on turn 1. Because after I wasn't doing calcs while we were playing, but after the fact, Dragapult still KO'd a Max Durant with Flamethrower.
Yeah.
And I was afraid that it wouldn't for some weird reason. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts for you, Matt?
I'm a little bit biased here. This is something that I've been harping on a little bit against Hub's team is the usefulness of a prankster taunt. I was hoping for that to come out here. For this turn 1, Fake Out is very good too. Probably the better play if you have both, at least for the turn 1. Yeah, I think you played this well enough. I agree that it would have been optimal not to Dynamax, but I don't really have.
Right. So, let's go ahead and go through this game. The Protect was kind of smart, but like, I don't really think it stopped anything. The first impression here was actually huge because it now put me in range of the Sucker Punch, which is terrifying.
Race is kind of a unit.
Yeah. So I am just barely hanging on there. Of course, Proc's my weakness policy. And I still don't kill the Togetic.
It's very, very beefy, man.
Oh my god. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Which is why I like Taunt so much, because it's hard to blow it up and get it off the field. So if you can just, and it's very basically guaranteed to carry the Eviolite. So
quick question for you guys actually. On this turn, if you see, I know I'm not faster than the Cinderace. My ideal play should have been Quash into Cinderace. It's not on the same priority level as Follow Me, is it?
Quash?
No, for
Oh,
the
it's
quash
Quash.
would get redirected.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't feel stupid because I literally sat here on this turn for like 5 seconds thinking I should quash the Sable or I should quash the Cinderace, but yeah, I was just kind of put in a position. And that's really why I think Togetic for her is her MVP. It's not killing anything, but Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Cinderace was also starting out that turn as a dark type, so you couldn't quash it anyway.
That was a really nice
fair.
quash there.
Yeah. I thought Rotom was going to go the distance here, but it was just barely not enough HP. And then poor Sableye trying its best.
If you had recover here, there's a way for you to win, which is weird.
Yeah, and that's why I said 4 move slot syndrome on the Sableye really bit me hard.
But I guess you would immediately die to Pyro Ball though, because you wouldn't have rain, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Okay, these leads. Of course, I stay the same. Because as soon as I Dynamaxed the Dragapult, I knew that was a mistake. So I figured, okay, this lead was good. I can work through what I want to. I can make sure to put myself in a position. Her lead is weird, and it was very confusing.
No, it's pretty odd. And I mean, I don't quite know what you want Celigor to do in this instance. Or even Togetic, really, but, you know, you live your best life.
The lead from her feels a little bit reactionary, which seems weird given the style of team that she has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll go through this.
I think you made a nice call on the fake out on the Excelgor. Just unfortunate that you had.
Yeah. And this is another reason why I didn't Dynamax the Dragapult, is because I knew she had Yawn. And luckily that fake out saved my Braviary from even dying. Here. This is something that caught me off guard. I was never expecting Palisand to actually come, because she's seen my team sheet. I had a lot of answers to it. But it just hard shut down my Rotom.
Yeah. Well, and Rotom did a lot of work for you the game prior, so I think she might have been afraid of, like, Rotom plus Sableye Quash just kind of winning you the set.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if she was leading, maybe intending to Togetic goes down and try to get a Water Shuriken off into the Palisand when it came in. Maybe she wasn't expecting to go for the final Gambit so quickly.
Well, the fast Yawn actually put me on the back foot as well, so...
Right, and you know, it was pretty safe to switch out there too, because she didn't really have any offensive pressure on the field aside from the final Gambit. So
yeah,
a bit of a strange lead on her end for sure.
I mean, this Palisand was just eating hits. It was crazy. And yeah, here comes the Cinderace, and the Protect was kind of weird. But I guess because I just now brought out Sableye, I did have Fake Out. So I kind of put her on the back foot.
Yeah, I think she may have been afraid of a Quash as well.
Yeah. And I barely lived that Max Darkness. Like, holy Jesus. If I die there, I think I just lose.
Most likely, yeah. It's... you were able to pull it out there because your last two were healthy enough.
Yeah.
The end game in game one was a little bit more difficult, since Cinderace was able to just sucker punch everything down.
Okay, again, I am staying with the same lead. She changes hers once again. Thoughts on this lead?
I actually kind of like it because I think it puts some pressure on you.
Oh, I like this lead as well. I'm not gonna lie.
It puts a lot of pressure on you because your Sableye can't really do anything to Palisand, and You know that Pult can't like.
I know that. Yeah, I know that Pult can't KO Togetic.
Yeah, so like that's a great lead. Yeah, no, I actually we talked about it a little bit prior, and the double protect here is good. Use up the fake out. One thing we kind of talked about a little bit prior to the starting is that I feel like misprepping here was a big thing. I think in your case, like, even though you knew Togetic was a threat, you didn't have knockoff or taunt.
Yeah.
To, like, really just get rid of it. Because I feel like if you had had either of those things, especially taunt, like, I think you would have won the set pretty easily, honestly.
I do as well, but like I said before, the 4 moves on Sableye were kind of needed, and, like, I just didn't have room.
No, and I feel that.
Granted, I was never able to use Shadow Sneak to proc my own policy, but without it, Sableye had no damage output at all.
Yeah.
And I'm not the player that likes to do that. I like to have at least one damaging move, period.
Yeah.
So yeah, this switch here, I thought I won the game after I made this switch. I really did. Because she is shadow balling the Dragapult slot, and neither of these guys care about the Earth Power, so I thought this would put me in the clear. This is Sheer Force Braviary, by the way, not Defiant.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, well, she doesn't have it.
You sacrifice the flinch chance.
Yeah.
I was wondering why the Rock Slide was doing so much damage.
Yeah. No. This is Sheer Force.
Does that mean that you never planned on maxing Braviary?
Yes. Yeah, that was a dumb play for me, but I was kind of stuck because I have Dragapult in the back. Like, what do I switch into that Urshifu?
Right.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate KO. I think at the very least a Quash Brave
I feel like
Bird
the
might have
potential
been
Quash
good.
Max Lightning there would have been a really good play.
Max Lightning. Oh, I had Braviary out.
No, Quash, the turn when you had a Quash Max Lightning there.
I didn't do that because I knew I had to Dynamax Dragapult and hope I had enough HP to live a Sucker Punch.
That's fair.
But I don't. So I was pretty much praying for a crit. Like, she played to her outs, pretty much, and I couldn't do anything about it.
That's a good set, though. That was a pretty cleanly done set. So yeah, our finalists, huge congrats to both of them. They both really earned it, I think. Their playoff games have been really stellar.
Yes. It seems like they just keep getting better.
Yep. So we only have...
I really like the late game Cinderace there from that decision. I think sort of forced you into
uncomfortable
it basically
plays.
Forced you. What was that?
Uncomfortable situations.
Oh, for sure. But I think even more than that, it forced you to either take a really dominant, commanding lead. Weren't able to do that, then Cinderace was able to just clean up at the end. You were able to win game 2 because your Rotom and your Dragapult at the end were healthy enough.
Mm-hmm.
But the other 2 games when they had already taken damage, they were just
not
really
enough.
Just sucker punch bait.
Yeah. So we now have our 2 finalists. Let's kind of talk about some key things that we're going to be kind of expected to see.
Yeah.
We don't want to go through like texts and like random stuff that, oh, I think if he does this, it will help him against her. But like, we're not doing that. We're talking about key things that are probably guaranteed. Like, if I'm prepping, I'm going to look at this and be like, oh yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
On Hub's side for Dark King, Durant, Cinderace, and just like they played in the previous earlier in the season, Mimikyu. I think those are going to be the 3 problems that he really needs to watch out for.
Yeah, I would agree with that very heavily. I think Hub needs to watch out for Milotic quite a bit. Milotic looks pretty good here, as well as Incineroar. Incineroar has a pretty positive matchup here, so does The other mons, though, I think things get a little bit more ambiguous. I do think that Snorlax, Cinderace are both pretty big here. I could definitely see Snorlax coming out here too, especially because it deals well with Porygon Z. And Trick Room is definitely an option in this matchup for both, actually.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure what we're going to see, but I'm very excited for what they kind of bring out.
I'm wondering. I think Incineroar does definitely look good here. I think even offensively, it looks kind of decent. It's very awkward against the Urshifu, for obvious reasons. But I'm also wondering if we might see Grimmsnarl come out actually. Few things I think he might be able to do that would help, but Milotic, I'm not sure how much I like Milotic in this matchup, given that Hub likes to go for the Sun mode so often, and it's just against the Venusaur.
Oh no, it's bad against the Venusaur, but without a Sun mode, I think it's pretty good.
It can be decent. I feel like I'm not sure it does enough against a lot of the stuff Hub has, but
See, and I think that's been the theme of the season with Hub is it's not so much what she brings. It's her opponents. If they prep for the wrong thing, they just lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of
you can't prep for everything is the problem, and
she just has so
her
much.
her style switches so much every time. Like you can't even make steady predictions, which is actually I think part of the reason why these two are in finals. Actually, is that while I think that both Brock and yourself are very good and you have great teams, I think that there was an element of understood predictability to both teams that both players took pretty significant advantage of.
Yeah, my team does one thing.
Yeah, and Brock's team has those core synergies, and they just working to counter those specifically because by this point in the season, you know what people have.
Right.
So I think both of their teams actually lend themselves well to that adaptability. I think this really does boil down to prep, though, more so than play, for both. I don't think this is going to be decided when the team sheets are given, but I think that when the team sheets are given, one of them is going to feel a lot better about their odds.
Yeah, for sure. I don't like doing these, but I kind of want to because I know both of these people. I know they're not going to get butthurt. Give me your win percentages. I'm going to go 65 in favor of Hub.
I don't know, man. That is a dangerous game.
No, I know these both of these people very well, and I could poke fun at them.
Just because team comp, I'm giving a slight edge to Hub, but not by much, because normally this would be, for me, it'd honestly be a higher percentage, but Dark King is playing and prepping too well for me to,
Big facts.
not give him very commendable odds. So I'm going to go ahead 55 Hub, 45 Dark King.
Yeah, I think
I can't go much higher than that.
Yeah,
it's mostly just because I think Hub's team is more versatile. Overall, I think the speed tiers are a little bit better, and I think that the different modes are a little bit stronger of modes. As in, there's a hyper offensive mode for Dark King. I think it's good. I don't think it's as strong as hers.
Right.
Dark King has a Trick Room mode. I think it's good.
So here's the thing.
That's kind of my thought.
Yeah, Dark King has better support mons. Because if you look at Hubs, her only support mon is Togetic.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to be a key element.
I might hover around the same percentage-wise. I think if we were looking at this, a month ago, I would probably give Hub more of an advantage. But I think recently we've been seeing Dark King prep well enough that I think I'm expecting good things out of his team building for this match.
Yeah, I don't expect this to be a 2-0 at all.
Go 3.
Yeah, I do believe this game will go to 3. But that's going to be it for me. If you guys have anything else, go right ahead.
All right, best of luck. We are in finals. I'm not sure if we've talked about this, but for next time, I think we're gonna be talking about next season. Is that correct? A
Yes.
little bit. Okay.
Yep.
Because we've already started some prep work for next season, so we'll kind of chat a little bit about what we have going on. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good luck to both players. I'm very interested to see what they bring and how it plays out.
Yep. All right. I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.